Hi, I'm Jessica,
And I'm Tracy.
and this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
And today we're so excited to be talking with Samantha Scher of Scher Lawyers. And we're going to be talking about insurance.
And insurance may seem kind of like a dry topic, but that's until you need it. And so what we wanted to do is, it's not about selling you insurance, it's about arming you with the information you need to get the best policy possible. Because did you know that 60% of insurance claims are denied?
I know, that's really scary. So we're very excited to be speaking with you, Samantha. So can you just start off by telling us a little bit about Scher Lawyers and what you guys do?
Absolutely. So Scher Lawyers is my family's law firm, and we've been in business for over 30 years. And we exclusively represent individuals suing insurance companies for claims that have been denied, mainly long-term disability claims, but also critical illness claims and life insurance claims.
So Sam, I don't even think I realized till I got into this topic, which maybe says something about me, but what are the different types of insurance that you can get? Like, what are the categories?
Well, there's many different types of insurance, but we're talking specifically about insurance for individuals, not home insurance or auto insurance. This is for people and their essentially health. And that would include, as I mentioned, disability insurance, critical illness insurance, and life insurance. I would say those are the three main types of insurance to be looking at, particularly if you're a solopreneur.
Right. And so I know that we're going to be doing three other videos, and we're going to be going to each one in detail. But if you're a solopreneur, what kind of insurance should you be thinking about?
So I would say the most important type of insurance to be thinking about is disability insurance, because if you're a solopreneur, you're working for yourself. And if for some reason you cannot work due to a medical condition and you're not able to make money or income, you have a big problem because that's your livelihood. So disability insurance protects you if you cannot work for the reasons of a medical condition for any period of time, and will pay you typically a percentage of your pre-disability income, depending on the product that you buy.
And Sam, what's the difference between like disability, critical, and life? So we know that you need disability, it's probably the one that you need. So what's the difference between the three?
So disability typically pays you a monthly benefit. That's a percentage of your income. So it's usually somewhere between 60 and 70% of your income, although you could probably purchase a higher percentage depending on the product that you are available to you. And you know, that makes the most sense because it's replacing your income. So if you can't work for 6 months, arguably the insurance company would pay you that percentage every month for as long as you can't work, okay? Critical illness and life insurance are different in that they're a lump sum payment. So a one-time payment for different scenarios, which we can get into in more detail.
And does it make a difference if you're an employee? I know we talked about solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. If you're an employee, does it make a difference what type of insurance you're looking at?
So, well, typically employees have group insurance benefits that are provided by their employer. They typically include disability insurance. They often include accidental death and dismemberment insurance, a small life insurance policy, and then other health benefits such as medical and dental. But if you're an employee, you should be looking at that in detail and looking at whether you need additional coverage on top of what your employer is providing to you.
And Sam, we gave kind of a shocking statistic off the top that, you know, that when we were talking to you, that 60% get denied. Can you just give us like a couple of examples that you see common things about why insurance claims get denied? Because I had no idea it was that large.
So absolutely. I mean, this is something that we see every single day because the people that we talk to are those that get denied. Nobody calls me if they're being paid.
That's true.
You know, and sometimes people get paid initially, and then after some period of time, the insurance company decides to stop paying them for various reasons. But you know, either if they've stopped being paid their benefits or they get denied from the beginning, they would be calling us. you know, the main reasons that there's a whole list of reasons, which we'll get into later in the series, about why insurance companies deny claims. But to just give you a brief example, you know, somebody who had been working for a long time, but had always suffered from some mental health concerns, anxiety and depression, they suddenly had some outside event in their work, maybe a family member died, or some personal issue that made their depression and anxiety much worse and made it so that they weren't able to continue working. And the insurance company questioned whether that those conditions were preventing them from being able to work, and denied their claim. And I mean, I'm not actually talking about a particular person, because this is something we see every single day. Many people fit into that story. And I would say those conditions that are what we would term invisible disabilities, so whether that's mental health, whether it's chronic pain, the type of thing that doesn't show up on a test, an X-ray or an MRI, the insurance companies are much more likely to deny. So that's certainly something we see a lot of.
Yeah, that's really,
clients.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I was going to ask you about mental illness, and is mental illness covered under critical, or is it covered under disability? Where does that fall into, or does it depend on the case?
I would say mental illness definitely falls under disability. It's, you know, if you have to, as I mentioned, depression or anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, bipolar, all of those types of things would fit under the category mental illness. That is an illness or medical condition that is preventing you from working. The difference with critical illness, so critical illness is a product that you purchase that essentially would cover you if you get one of a list of different illnesses. And usually when they say critical, it means they're bad. So, you know, depending on the product, the list would be different. But most of the policies I've seen include things like cancer, heart attack, stroke, you know, those type of conditions that are pretty dire. Not to say that you couldn't recover from those conditions. And the critical illness policy would pay you a lump sum amount that you purchase, whether that's $50,000 up to $1 million. It depends how much you buy, if you get that illness, regardless of whether you can work or not. I think that that's mental illness is not typically covered under a critical illness policy. Okay. Getting into life insurance, life insurance is a whole other story, because they only pay you if you die. The reason to get life insurance is not for you, it's to protect your family. So I would say that you would be more likely to want to consider life insurance if you have dependents, if you're a single solopreneur with no family or dependents, it's maybe not as important. Because typically life insurance pays a lump sum to your beneficiaries, who you determine who those beneficiaries are, typically a spouse or children. And it would pay them a lump sum amount when you die. And the reason to do that is to protect them, particularly if you are the main breadwinner, and then you're no longer there, your family is going to have financial difficulty, and a life insurance policy can protect them from that. But I would say life insurance policies do have exclusions, one of which is suicide. So getting back to the mental health topic, not that mental health necessarily equals suicide, but that's the relevant part of life insurance. So I'd say, in answer to Tracy's question, mental illness really mostly covered by disability.
Well, it's so funny, just even starting this topic, I'm so grateful that we're going into it in depth, because it's obvious there's so much to unpack here, and my mind is buzzing with questions. And I'm so grateful that we're covering insurance in general, because it's a very personal topic, especially for me. I've had friends who had the right kind of coverage and have had, dealt with mental illness or breast cancer and been covered. And I've had ones who don't, and it's been really financially costly. So I'm super grateful to you to have this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And, you know, especially now with COVID, I'm not sure there's exclusions for what's going on now, but we'll talk to you about that in more depth when we go into each different type of insurance. But it is such an important, you know, topic. We don't realize how important it is until we need it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I just wanted to add, you know, when clients come to us, they're in a very difficult position because they have a medical condition that is difficult to deal with at the best of times. And then they're not being paid by their insurance. So they have financial difficulties as well. So I always say to clients, well, you know, I can't give you back your health. I'm not a doctor. But what I can do is get you money. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can certainly help in terms of, you know, helping your family to get by. So that's really not something you want to necessarily be thinking about, but you do need to be protecting yourself if and when this situation happens.
Well, I'm sure we have questions, so do everybody else. So I hope everybody who's watching this will put your questions down below or write in and put it in the comments, because whether you already have an insurance policy or whether you're thinking about getting one, this is going to be a great series to make sure that you have the right coverage ahead of time before you make a claim.
Yeah, and I would just like to say we had, you know, Samantha and I and my Jessica a little chat before this, and it was like just so enlightening, some of the things that you told us. So stay tuned, please send us your questions, and we look forward to discussing with you in depth all the different types of insurance and how to make sure that you are covered. So thank you so much, Samantha. We'll be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, next week we're coming back for disability. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.